You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling through your feed, and this quiet, nagging voice pops into your head. The one that whispers, you're falling behind schedule in life. Well, today, we're going to take that idea apart, piece by piece, and show you why your personal timeline might actually be your greatest strength.
You see people who seem younger than you, and they look like they have it all figured out. The career, the confidence, all of it. And that question just bubbles up. Did I miss my chance? Am I too late? It's a feeling pretty much everyone has. But you know what? It's based on a completely flawed idea.
So let's get into this. From the time we're young, society kind of hands us this invisible checklist for life. And when your reality doesn't line up perfectly with these made-up deadlines, your brain can log it as a personal failure. But here's the thing. It's not a fact. It's just a story we've all been told.
But what if I told you that history tells a completely different story? It's a story all about the power of patience, and it stars a totally different kind of hero, the late bloomer. I mean, just look at this timeline. Vera Wang didn't even start her fashion empire until she was 40. Charles Darwin was 50 years old when he published On the Origin of Species and completely changed science forever. And Colonel Sanders? He was 65 when his chicken recipe finally took off. They weren't behind. Their greatest work just needed more time to cook.
All right, let's keep going because this gets even better. There's a fascinating psychological secret behind all of this. It turns out science actually shows that slower development isn't a flaw. It's a feature. It's a sign of a different and, honestly, a more profound kind of growth.
Our culture is obsessed with the early bloomer, right? The person who builds speed. But the late bloomer is busy building something else entirely, depth. Taking a little longer lets you actually integrate all your experiences, and that creates a kind of success that's often way more durable and meaningful. Okay, so the secret weapon here is a part of your brain called the default mode network. Just think of it as your brain's creative engine. When you take the scenic route in life, trying different jobs, exploring weird interests, you are actively wiring this exact network for higher level thinking. It's something the faster, more direct paths often just bypass completely.
So here's the absolute key takeaway. You are not falling behind. You are incubating. All those experiences, all that time you might have thought you were wasting, that was actually your brain getting ready, connecting dots in the background, preparing for its biggest impact.
And what about all those times you felt confused or filled with self-doubt? Well, your brain doesn't see those as failures at all. It sees them as productive friction. And that friction, that is the hidden engine of intelligence. It's the very thing that forces your brain to build new pathways and get ready for a breakthrough.
Okay, so now we get the science, but how do we actually put it into practice? How do we stop chasing somebody else's milestones and start building a life that has real, profound impact? Well, this is the late bloomer's blueprint.
It's all built on 3 core principles. First, stop measuring how fast you're going and start tracking depth. Focus on how clear your decisions are becoming. Second, use that friction as feedback. When something feels uncomfortable, see it as a sign of growth. And third, explore across different fields. That's how you synthesize unique ideas, kind of like how Steve Jobs famously combined technology with calligraphy.
This question right here is your most powerful tool. Seriously, the next time you feel lost or slow or just uncomfortable, I want you to stop and ask yourself, what am I integrating right now? This simple little shift turns that negative feeling of friction into positive feedback for your own growth. Now let's talk about one simple, powerful habit that can fundamentally change the way you think. See, real intelligence doesn't grow by just cramming in more information. It grows when your brain is forced to think without any new input.
And hey, this isn't some new idea. It's inspired by people like Albert Einstein, who used his famous thought experiments to come up with his biggest theories. He's proof that slow, totally undistracted reflection is basically a cornerstone of genius. And the best part about all this? It doesn't take a huge time commitment. Not at all. All you really need is about 15 to 30 minutes a day to start building this deep thinking superpower. So here's how you do it, a daily thinking walk. And the rules are super simple, but they are crucial. No phone, no music, no distractions of any kind. I'll be honest, at first it's going to feel boring, maybe even a little uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that is the signal that it's working, that your brain is finally getting the space it needs to connect ideas and actually grow. So if you remember just one thing from all of this today, let it be this. You are never meant to follow some single pre-planned path. Your timeline is your own. Your bloom isn't late. It's just deeper. So I'll leave you with a final thought, something to reflect on during your next thinking walk. Instead of asking if you're behind, ask yourself this: what profound impact are you incubating right now?